Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Now, a few days ago, I did report that unfortunately, Kishane Thompson, who was down to compete, scheduled already on the list of participants for the World Indoor Championships, was removed from the list, and that left everyone's tongues a buzz across the world. And one question we all wanted to know was, why was Kishane Thompson removed from the list of competing athletes for the World Indoor Championships? No, his coach, the great Stephen Francis, has come out and he has addressed the situation, Tracky. So I'm going to let you take a listen to what Coach Stephen Francis had to say, and then I'm going to get back with the rest of my thoughts.
He suffered a slight medical usual training issue, and so therefore we decided that for such an issue he's going to require a couple of days rest, but that means that he would not be in proper shape to compete. So we said, well, since he can't be at the best that he is now, then it makes no sense for him to compete. It's a slight incident happening in training in terms of his ankle or shin, and he should be alright after a couple days. So it's nothing to be alarmed about. I think.
Our so track is that was Stephen Francis. And when I tell you, when it comes to Kishane, we all clutch our invisible pearls because we know his history when it comes to injuries. So when he was pulled from the event, a lot of us, were assuming the worst. For me, I was hoping for the best. I'm not gonna lie. However, now Stephen Francis has come out and he has confirmed that he's had a slight incident in training, and as such will need a few more days to rest, won't be at his best, and as a result they've pulled him from the World Indoor Championships. So I want to just say this right off the bat: speedy recovery to Kishane Thompson. Now, I know Steven said it's not anything for us to be alarmed about, but when we think about Kishane's history, we clutch our invisible pearls, as I said. Now, track is I really want to talk about though a few things that Stephen Francis said in this particular interview. No, he did allude to it being a usual training issue, but he also said it was a slight incident. So I was a little confused there because when it comes to usual issues, we're thinking, okay, Kishane, shin problems, hamstring problems, right? However, he did also say it was a slight incident. So I was like, okay, so which one is it? Is it a usual training issue or is it just some slight mishap that happened in training? And then he also said it was his ankle. Then he said no, it was his shin, right? So I'm like, okay, the first thing that popped up in my mind when he said, a slight incident, ankle, I'm thinking back to that indoor race that he did where when he ended the race, he did indicate like something was wrong with his ankle in that particular race. To be fair, Trackies, I just want to be absolutely clear that when Kishane went down, it could have also been the shin as well. It could have been that area that he was reaching for. However, midway down when he was reaching for the area, he did stop. So it wasn't really clear what he was reaching to. My opinion, I thought it was ankle initially when I saw it, but clearly he's always had shin issues as well. So it could have been his shin, absolutely. So I'm sure a few of you remember it because a lot of people were highlighting the fact that Kishane didn't look absolutely comfortable competing indoors, right? So when he said ankle, my ears perked up as like, huh? And then he, however, quickly corrected himself and said, no, his shin. So I'm like, okay, then. So is this just a mistake in terms of identifying what the issue was? or is this something else at play here, Tracky? So that's pretty much what I was thinking here when it comes to a Stephen Francis and his explanation. Also, Trackies, I kind of want to play devil's advocate a little bit when it comes to this particular interview as well. It's kind of also giving me the vibe that you remember when I did that video last season when I talked about, is this a trick, when it came to Kishane Thompson and the injury that he suffered in that first outing that he did in 2024. And I look back at the video and I was like, I don't really think Kishane is injured, right? So when I was listening to Steven as well, it was also giving the vibe that this not really sound like something is really wrong with Kishane, right? So there's also that aspect as well. So just playing a little devil's advocate a little bit, saying, okay, Stephen, you seemed a little unsure about what exactly was wrong with Kishane. So I'm saying that to say, track is maybe, just maybe, you know, this is actually Steve at play, right? So there's that aspect to everything as well. And I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say based on what you listened to in the actual interview and the vibe that you got just listening to what Steve Francis had to say. Now, track is also, I was very interested in hearing if he had anything to say about Atia Clayton because, of course, she was also an athlete that was down to compete and is no longer or will no longer be competing. However, didn't hear that in this interview. So I'm unsure as things stand right now as it relates to Atia Clayton. For me, it's quite interesting that there was no mention of Atia Clayton in this conversation at all, considering that even though clearly she's no Kishane Thompson when it comes to the accolades already garnered on the world stage, right? Kishane is the Olympic silver medalist, so clearly the world is talking and is a buzz about Kishane particularly. But from a Jamaican interest perspective, we're also interested in the other athletes as well. So there's a lot of interest around Tia and of course why she will no longer be participating in the or at the World Indoor Championships. So it was very interesting not hearing him shed any light into the Tia Clayton situation. But still, Jack is waiting to hear, what's going on with her as well. As the days progress, as you guys can see, more and more information is coming out thick and fast. Like as we drop content, there's another part to the story that comes out. So here I am, addressing this Kishane Thompson issue. So Stephen Francis is saying that there's not much to be alarmed about when it comes to Kishane Thompson. Still want to say speedy recovery. However, there's still a slight question mark in my mind when it comes to everything that I listen to and whether or not this is Stephen at play. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye.